you can grab that and the Sejuani on R1 and 2, and that's a great combo to get yourself started.
Yeah, I'm with you, Bloxxer. I think Yone and Sejuani, or at least Sejuani, are going to be in this game too. I would be very shocked to see if both of them get all the way through the pick ban phase. But another jungler that was at the top of priority in split 1 that has taken a bit of a dip thanks to some of those more carry-oriented champs is still very volatile. So Tian will lock in the Skarner. Do we just see the Sejuani swing?
Just do it.
On R1, R2, Jun and Scout are a mid-jungle duo that have played it just like nearly everybody else in the LPL.
Absolutely. It's very, very strong at the moment, and it's such a good start for a composition. It can work into a lot of different ways. Instead, they're just going to pivot straight up, and we were talking about this coming into the series today.
Okay.
Slam right here onto the Arla Yorick. And hey, Arla's been having a good series so far, and you really need him to pop off onto this one. They are going to grab themselves the Lilia as well, so we're not going to actually see the Sejuani. Maybe we'll still see the Yone, though. Still very high priority.
Yeah, I might have to eat my words pretty quickly here, but we still have some pretty big marquee picks. I was going to spot out that the Varus definitely gets picked up by either of these two guys. So Tian, with the time running down, will lock that one for light. The stock standard top model of AD carry champions you can get in the LPL right now. Pretty easy slam dunk pick. My question is, do you blind Xiaohu here, or do you pick for Erha?
You could just pair something nice and standard up alongside him. You've still got things like the Leona available. You've still got all sorts of these top priority supports. I'm just going to go towards the Renekton instead. And that's a very strong top side of the map early on in the game, actually. You can gank incredibly effectively onto this Yorick and make him very uncomfortable in this matchup. And the Renekton works very, very well in these team fights in a way that the Yorick really isn't able to do. So it's going to be very interesting to see once we get onto the Rift. For right now, though, the final response is going to force Actually, right here, we did talk about how important the Yone was going to be. See if they lock it.
They will. So the Yone comes through for Scout.
You can't just let it.
Instead of these, and it would have certainly gotten banned in the second phase. So this does open up some pretty integral second phase bans here because we didn't handshake the same lanes across the board. We've got top laners and junglers selected, but gotta think that Light is gonna get his champion, or excuse me, not Light. Peyz is gonna get some bans coming his way, and like you called out with Rakan and Alistair going away in the first game. I would expect to see a lot of support bans, but instead, Xiaohu's champion pool is going to get targeted. He loses the Aurora. With the Rise already off the board, are we starting to get slim pickings on Xiaohu's current champion pool?
A bit of one, right? I mean, you've still got a couple of the very standard options available to you, and the Ahri actually was taken off the board previously. Ahri and Orianna are both available, and those do work decently well here if you just want to kind of sit back, not get too involved overall. The Ahri is going to be taken off the board. JDG do recognize that one. So what the final ban from Weibo is going to be, do they want to target out Peyz's champion pool even more? The Misfortune, we talked about it, one of the best pickups he's had recently, although with this composition, again, a very aggressive dive kind of composition that you've got for yourself with the Yone, very aggressive alongside the Lilia too. I don't know what sort of ADC you really want to be going towards. Actually, they might even just want to counterpick the ADC. That's a lot of pressure right here onto your AD. You don't usually do that.
It's also really... You rarely see the Renata pick before the AD carry or the AD carry comes through, right? First you lock the Kalista if you don't have the Nico to get Kalista Renata. But we're going to take the Renata off the board. I don't hate it knowing that you're going into Renekton Skarner already, so you're going to have people that you can get a lot of value out of hitting the hostile takeover onto.
Exactly. You already know that there's going to be plenty of dive coming in this composition. So you're not going to be too worried about just going towards this one. It's going to be the Karma locked in. Do you want to just go for a very aggressive laning right here? If you do go towards the poke Varus, then you've got a ton of just pressure that you can lay down. What can really stand up to this that's still available? You can go towards something a little bit safer if you want, something like the Xayah, or I was going to say you can just get way more aggressive and try to fully match it in this lane matchup. It is going to be the lock-in right here of the Kalista, another signature Peyz champion.
Signature Peyz champion and a bloodbath of a bottom lane. Do like this sort of dare that JDG threw down that I did kind of skip over with the Renata lock-in. We're locking Renata R4. You're daring Erha to play an engage support because it's just you dare him to play into Renata's wheelhouse, right? So it's like, all right, pick the Nautilus, pick the Leona. No, you force him onto these enchanters. But as you pointed out, a lot of scalers on the top side for JDG. Weibo have a lot of lane priority early once more, and they're going to need to capitalize on it because this game gets terrifying outside of bottom lane if you are even into the mid and late game.
Exactly. You really need to get yourself a little bit of an advantage right here. And the bot lane, so much poke means that it's going to be pretty tricky to get that advantage for yourself by yourself in this 2v2. But then you don't really want to be dragging the Lilia out of the jungle early on. You really want to allow the Lilia to just be able to sit in there, get as much farming done as possible, at least hit that level 6, get the Lilting Lullaby up before you get involved in these lanes, which is very different, right, to the Skarner, who wants to just gank early on. He's so powerful in these skirmishes.
Stakes could not be higher with with just a handful of series left for both of these teams. Markedly Weibo, who are on their 4th to last series of the Rumble stage. A loss in Game 2 would tie them for 6th and 7th, nearly eliminate their chances of scrapping in to a top 4 spot, and once again sending them into an area that they are not comfortable with. JD Gaming, with the most series left to play, trying to come back from 2 ugly series. It was a banger Game 1 that went 45 minutes long. Are we in store for another one? Are we in store for a distant series? We let the Gyos come in as we await the result.
You want to snap a 4-game loss streak. They're going to try by just getting aggressive onto missing early on. Get the heal out early, and actually that's pretty huge for this lane. The extra speed up that the heal gives you, plus the extra health, of course, is really important in this kind of heavy poke bot lane that you're going to have between the Varus and this Karma. Interesting enough to note, though, it is actually going to be an on-hit Varus, not going to be the poke version at all. Slightly...
Wow.
I'm baffled. I was about to try justify it, and then I really looked at all of the champions you're up against. The only person who you're kind of wanting to get slightly more aggressive on... Hang on.
Oh boy.
Xiaohu, is he fine?
Alright.
He's still good, I think.
Should be able to walk his way out.
Although...
Okay,
this is a mess.
This is definitely a mess. And the first bottom lane that's going to get here is going to be Weibo. And Shun loses the smite, then has to flash away. He does get to the level 2 off of the mid wave, though.
Yeah, Shun got the smite onto the big chicken, but didn't pick up enough of the smaller ones to fully get the level 2 off of those camps.
Look what it did to bottom lane.
Yeah. This should be a push lane. This should be the lane that you're really pushing through, but all of a sudden, having to play a little bit more respectful, you should be able to step up as soon as the level 2 does hit the bottom side. And now there's action all across the map as top lane is also going toe-to-toe. Breathe able to get that level 2 first, and in this matchup, that means he's very much just going to be able to fully get aggressive right here. Massive damage onto Arla. Wave's going to be pushed under the tower already.
Yeah, Arla's going to play the waiting game for sure, but... I'm continuing. I really want to continue the discussion around just this entire different approach to the bottom lane. We came into off of the draft expecting double Comet. We're not getting that. We are getting Erha and Light trying to index into scaling well, but this sort of Varus is so integral on being able to have play against champions that are free autos. Stack the lethal tempo, the Rage Blade.
Yeah.
There are no tanks to do that, and there's going to be a Lilia and a Yone flying at you in the face. I just don't have confidence that Light is going to be able to get the full potential out of this Varus, but what can solve that ailment is getting the Varus pretty far ahead. Is Xiaohu's going for a level 3 roam with stun available. Mystic does have the flash, but doesn't have the heal. It's Xiaohu dares him to flash first, and he fails that dare and gives first blood into the General's hands.
This is exactly what we were saying with that heal, right? The extra little bit of speed up that popping the heal from Missing would have given them would have likely been enough for him to at least be able to get the flash off, probably enough to be able to survive in that situation. Instead, it's going to be a kill going down. Now Tian going to be hunting Jun in his jungle. Actually manages to get the stun off right here. This is a no flash
has
Lilia.
no flash. Yep, exactly as you called it, Bloxxer. Weibo coming out hungry. 2 opening kills, reading JDG like a book to find an early lead.
We were talking about this composition being one that really needed to get itself ahead early for JDG. Well, it's that same thing here for Weibo. If they can get themselves a big lead early on.
Oh my god, he stole the red buff. He blind stole the red buff. But he doesn't win this. He has nobody coming to help him, so he's just gift wrapped the red buff. Scout, what are you doing there? Feats of Warfare, 2 kills to Xiaohu.
JDG?
Oh my god, now missing?
What?
Flashing for handshakes, but they're still losing this trade. Light and Erha are more than healthy enough to keep up the scrap.
Oh my
and now
lord,
we're looking for a
TP.
flame.
What is this early game? Hello?
Scout is very, very tilted off of his death here. Shun trying to come over. Scout has the flash, but both flashes are available for Light and Erha. The handshake, though, really well placed from missing. Do they have enough damage? Erha holding onto that flash, gets the Karma Shield. He doesn't even have to burn that Key Summoner.
Look at the mid-wave. Look at the mid-wave
What is
that you're
JDG
losing
doing?
out for that one. I have literally no clue. The saving grace is just about that it's going to be a cannon wave, so at least you don't lose as many minions right here. It's still going to be able to pick up the majority of this. But that's your TP blown to just say hi to bot lane, force them onto a reset. Not even a particularly bad reset timer for Erha. Light's able to survive, keep pushing through this wave. He's not going to be worrying about it too much. Are we sure that the same JDG walked back out of the tunnel between games 1 and 2? Because this is insane.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And all of these desperate plays and maybe just gross overestimates.
We're 5 minutes into this game.
Yeah, I guess I'm talking about the Scout TP, right? Like, that was probably desperate. But the point being is that they are now down about around 1,500 gold.
Yeah.
5 minutes in. Weibo, game 1 was in control of theirs at points, but and you could definitely write off some of their mistakes to lose that one. If they've got to command this lead and bring this thing home, because even looking back to the first time these teams matched up, Weibo struggled in game 2 of all things to lock down and convert a lead. As we get more interesting teleport hijinks coming out from JDG.
This is wild. Okay, so you're going to get the full lane swap, vertical map play, not even vertical jungling, just straight up vertical map play. Teleport going to come in from Breathe to get him into this bottom lane. Xiaohu also going to head down towards the bottom side of the map. The Drake does get picked up here for JDG. I really like this out of Xiaohu. He needed to respond, although might get caught here. Uh-oh.
Doesn't have the flash available to him, gets trapped in the York pit, but Breathe is here with dominance, pops it, but he doesn't have his Xiaohu next to him. Timbers is trying to get some work done. Holy cola the Meek, Breathe just healed about 200 HP, but guess what's better? The Rend comes through for Peyz. And we continue to have a messy, messy series on our hands, Bloxxer.
And all of a sudden, this is not worthwhile at all for Weibo. They end up losing out on a ton of gold. All of that advantage that they'd been able to pick up for themselves just gets erased. I liked the roam out of Xiaohu because the dive was coming onto Breathe bottom lane pretty much guaranteed, and you were recognizing that as Weibo and heading down towards that lane. Now they're going to try to collapse here onto Scout. He has flash again, though. He should be okay.
All right. He's thinking his lucky stars that Light isn't level 6, let me tell you.
This is a crazy early game. We're 7.5 minutes into this one, and I don't feel like I've had a second to breathe. Every single moment of this has been fights or roams or things going back and forth, and now missing, potentially looking for another play onto a flashless Xiaohu, although Erha arriving should spell the end of this one.
Yeah, has stun though.
Should.
Before missing. Should be just fine as we see the bot lane rotating the mid once more here for JDG. Shun has showed up, level 6 here, hits the Swirl Seed. Knight's gonna go Xiaohu, he gets close enough to his turret, gets the heal from his support. Huge two-man stun, but guess what prevails at last? It's once again the Rend from Peyz. Tian flies in though to get one into missing, gets the impale down onto Shun as well. What a topsy-turvy game. These teams just can't stop fighting, and we've got more action coming. Peyz clutch timing on that flash. The stun lands, but he's the only one mid lane to survive for JDG.
Oh, this game just going so crazy. Off the back of that play in the mid lane, it is going to turn around into a couple of grubs picked up right here by Weibo. They're going to have all 3 of these. No response at the moment from Shun. I've got to be honest, in terms of team compositions that like crazy back and forth early games, the one with Lilia really doesn't strike me as being that team composition. Yeah, you get a little lullaby here onto one person, and at least you're able to pick up the kill onto Xiaohu just about with that Rend, but everything here then turns around and goes wrong, and this is where the Scum is going to be at his best. Good impale out of Tian to be able to pick this one up. The Scum's really been dropping off in priority. Players like Monkey and Tian are kind of the only ones really pulling this one out consistently. He has been making it look good. Erha getting jumped.
Erha has flash. Another summoner comes across. All we care about is fighting in this game. Holy moly, how does... Scout is backing on a pink ward. He doesn't expect anyone to pull up. Tian says, why not? I'll throw down. This is Scrapfest 2025 at this point. Shun won't even be able to create out Tian, though, who has 2 Giants belts to his name. And for once, nobody dies every minute in this game.
Not from lack of trying, though. And now we're going to have a teleport straight back in from Scout. At least he's not going to get insta-dove onto this one again. Dragon went over to JDG, 3 grubs went over to Weibo, and that's critical, right? And we very much have to highlight, even though the early game's been crazy, getting to take away the 3 grubs from the team that has got the Yorick, that's going to be massive, but the fighting continues.
Oh, missing. Doesn't have hostile takeover. He has flash, but there's no point in burning it. He still does. Gets breathed to trade his, but missing mispositions, continuing for another game.
Hey, look. Slayer, I think you got this one. I don't think the color's particularly necessary in this game right now. I might have a nap.
I need you to make sense of this, Bloxxer. What am I supposed to say about this? I don't know what to say.
It's crazy, right? There is just so much aggression happening early on. And the thing that's fascinating is that so much of it's coming from JDG. Composition with a Lilia usually wants to sit back and farm up and not get things so insane early on. With a Yorick as well, this champion not particularly strong early on. You want to get him a couple of items before he can really start mauling through these towers. But instead, JDG, they've been very happy to scrap. They're only down by about 1,000 gold. It's kind of working.
Bloxxer, you've been given only 30 seconds to talk, as we have Chains of Corruption immediately coming out after that. Right in there, huh? Just stat checking Peyz. He'll be safe for now. I do like the Yorick point. I think the one guy that actually does benefit out of the chaos for JDG in this game is Alla, who's kind of just got to take turret plates and just scale up, because the Yorick needs time, and he only has 2 assists to his name. He's part of that one big fight for JDG. Outside of that, he's been kind of just cruising, and even Caster Curse can't ruin that. Full combo from Xiaohu, not enough.
Although, that being
Tibbers versus Maiden.
Dive. The dive is about to come through. With Maiden up, he's got a lot of healing to his name. Needs to be careful to not get stunned up against the wall, though, or impale.
Shun is close by as well. He's going to flash back towards his teammate. Impale available for Tian. He takes a couple of turret shots. Lilting Lullaby comes across. There's the hostile takeover. Really well positioned from missing, and it collapses the dive. Alla survives, and that's not the headline. Guess what the real one is? 3 for 0. JDG once again. Read the Weibo minds.
There we go. It was a very telegraphed dive. The second that you get that much damage down onto Alla, you know that Weibo is going to be heading towards this bottom lane, wants to pull off the dive. Even though he was hit by that H-Tower's impact and the Impale, still, Alla able to survive. Like you said, he's really been benefiting by just getting a lot of free time. Well, now he has to pull out the fancy feet, get himself involved in this one, but it's the hostile takeover more than anything that completely turns this one around. Beautiful look right here to just about get it off before he gets pulled in.
Oh my god. I was so confused what was happening there. It's like, is Tibbers? Oh my god. Oh my god. Bloxxer, that was a mind-infected Tibbers that just killed Annie.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Unfortunately, hostile takeover it's quite the buff. It's quite the optimum.
God.
And that's why you pick it up, right? We saw that the Renata was picked up pretty early on in this game. And it was very specifically for this sort of situation where you've got multiple champions sprinting at you. And this is the way that you very much want to be playing the game as Weibo. You've got yourself a Renekton, a Skarner, and Annie. All of those champions want to be going in, flashing in even potentially. If you can hit those big ultis off onto the beacon right here is missing, that's going to be huge.
Ooh.
Bot tower's dead,
folks.
by the way. Alec just melts this.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think the teleport matters. I don't even know if this is advised.
He has Dominus. Okay. He could have just taken the turret.
Just take it. Fascinating that he doesn't want it. Oh, I guess you want the dive?
But this is a Renekton with Dominus.
Yeah.
You also lose first turret.
Yeah,
that is feats of strength.
Baffled by that. I do not know why he didn't just take that proc. You know you've got your support coming down. You know Jun's in the area as well. You can just take that tower.
Alright, well, this is what they wanted. And Breathe not going to be able to sidestep the handshake. Pops the Dominus, but this is 1 versus 3, and he's putting the playpen. Yorick dictates it. Alla gets another kill. The turret does go down. So while you give up the upgraded boots, it overall, gold-wise, is a bigger win for JDG on the cross map.
But I mean, upgraded boots are pretty good on a lot of members of JDG right here, and are pretty good on a lot of members of Weibo. I mean, running around even faster as an Annie or a Skarner, you're going to be very happy about that one, plus the extra benefit that those boots can give you depending on which you pick up. I am surprised by that, but then again, I've been surprised by pretty much every single decision that JDG has made throughout this entire game so far. It's not been a single standard moment for us throughout the entirety of it. Now got 30 seconds until this Herald is going to spawn. Picking up Herald on a team with a Yorick would be huge for JDG, but they've been a bit reticent to actually go for these straight up skirmishes. They've very much been enjoying going for these random side lane plays or joining onto these fights after Weibo initially engages them.
Quickly back to the this game doesn't make any sense point. I have a fun request for our lovely LPL English mods and the chat. How many times, my loyal chatters, have you face-bombed in this game? We're 15 minutes in. If the mods can get some numbers back to me, it'd be appreciated. It's not needed, but I will say I'll start off the count here, Bloxxer, for everybody at home. I have face-bombed about once every 3 minutes, so 5 times in this game already.
I was going to say, I've had 4 solid face palms, you know?
Okay, so we got 9 as the casters.
Little, like, ooh, but 4 solid ones so far. Tian picking this one up, very much not going to be a face palm. Weibo enjoy having that one. Can use it to crack the mid lane tower open potentially. It's still pretty healthy at the moment. Now got a minute 30 until the next Drake is going to spawn. Before then, though, we might have another couple of aggressive plays. I think Breed recognizes that he's in danger, cannot step up for this minion wave, and is just going to head back to base at the moment. Things do slow down just a little bit. There's a lack of objectives to try to fight around. There's a lack of people in lanes to try to dive or gank as well. But I think we really do need to, once again, focus in onto the fact that we've got a Yorick in this game who's 3-0-3, already got that Trinity Force completed, and so is just going to be mauling through towers at this point.
You read my mind, and for the main struggle we've talked about recently with JD Gaming getting caught on side lanes, not respecting, map plays in this phase of the game, how powerful would it be for JDG, who, mind you, they have the most series left of all the majority of Group Ascent teams, for them to kind of get that monkey off their back of getting picked off in sides with an Ala Yorick masterclass into a 2-0, the first one they've had in a while, really would bode well for the JDG side of this discussion.
Absolutely it would, and as we've been highlighting, right, that individual game score so important for deciding between these teams once all is said and done. How much do we want to get this as a 2-0? Missing still very aggressive at the moment. More than happy to, and so far has been playing a great game here on the Renata. Though a little bit of pressure right here. Herald also getting popped from Weibo. They just want to take down this mid lane tier 1.
They have 4 members strong here. Scout's going to TP in. Ala's still busy with the top lane tier 1. Turret's going to go down. Tian looking for a potential impale angle, but Shun is being really, really skittish about getting too close. So Scout TPs for very little. The turret goes down nonetheless. The dragon is up, and Ala is trying to cancel Xiaohu's base with both of them holding on to teleport.
Oh, Maiden.
Sweet
No.
Maiden.
Walk away.
Is this the distraction, though? Xiaohu is way more content going for the main, and here comes the play for Peyz and missing. They use the Fate's Call to go after Erha. Peyz is trying to hop around, but he's got a croc right in front of his face, so he flashes forward. Erha escapes. There's no red coming across. They commit so much just to knock down the Weibo support, but Shun is running wild in the back of this fight. Clutch impale from Tian might have just saved Xiaohu. He flashes over the swirl seed. He gets the X-Tal's impact.
Oh,
Shun thought he had a double kill. He's having to work for just one of the kills, but the Lilia is just so hard to outpace. On the flip side of this fight, Breathe gets 1 kill done, but all is way too far accelerated. The Yorick is going to send another one to the grave with the spade. Smacks him down. A messy fight, so accurately potent for this game too, but it's JDG barely coming out on top.
So many moments there where that fight could have swung either way. Like you said, the red not quite coming through that allows Erha to survive a bit longer, draw Jun in a little bit too far. Ala in the back line, and we didn't even see what ended up happening with a couple of the other members in this fight. So many different places where this one could have gone wrong or well, depending on who you're supporting in this one. Jun,
oh my!
Smite! Yep.
Oh, Erha. That was huge. That stopped Soul Point.
Did Jun smite the Crux? I don't know that we'll get a replay of
Okay,
that.
he has it now. I'll watch for it. Take us through it.
Have a look back at what this was. So Erha just about survives into this one, but that's the bit we were watching. We'll watch the backside of this fight.
Smite's there.
Breathe teleports in. That's where the smite comes in. Breathe buys some space, buys some time. I think is able to pick up the kill onto Missing at the end of this one. So does well for himself. Yeah, at the very end of this one, but I feel like Breathe just isn't able to get anywhere near as much priority from this team fight as he would have hoped for. It's because he's just not been able to get ahead for himself in this team fight. Arla's so much further ahead than he is, just chunking him through, although very much designed at the moment to be bonking onto towers, not necessarily onto champions, although this is the sort of build that can go back and forth. And like you said, there was the smite. I was wondering if he'd smote onto the Krugs. Not quite.
So he got the second charge up and he smited the Raptors for the extra heal because he thought that Tian was going to kill him with Xiaohu. So that,
yeah.
Right when I mean, it really felt like Shun was going to be able to get at least one force flashes for a second, maybe even get the double kill after the Lilting Lullaby.
Yeah.
But the
Not
Impale was in time and has to use the smite, and now you get some more breathing room for Weibo, but you still have the same worries that Ala is going to command so much attention on the side lanes here, so Weibo are just trying to force plays where they know Ala doesn't have any time to get a side lane going. He's actually present for this fight. They have Scout way too far away here. Yeah, good call. This is a 4v5, and Missing walks right into Xiaohu. They do get the Fates call out, so Timbers doesn't get a lot of value. Shun trying to chase off Xiaohu. Does get him away. Hostile takeover. Gonna hit onto 2. Peyz is starting to free hit. Gets a ton of Ren stacks into Breathe. What is he gonna call it? Boom! There's the first kill for Peyz. He remains untouched in this fight as Shun tries to run down Xiaohu and Erha. The root comes across the Lilia, but he has the stasis. He's waiting on his teammates. Shun needs the backup for JDG, but it's the kill over to Light. Finally, Scout shows up. Fate sealed onto Xiaohu. Only gets 1. Tian limps away from another Ren. Erha trying to buy space for Light, who really has lethal tempo, starting to free fire. It's a Gatling gun of Avaris, and Erha's trying to set him up. Light, going to be the hero, provide the halo for Weibo as they desperately try and crawl back in this game. All is far too low. Watch Tian off to the side. Already used the Ixtal's impact. Doesn't throw the stone close enough. So Peyz and Ala escape, but a big win for Weibo.
There you go, that's what Weibo really needed for themselves. Pick up the Atakan, and all of that goes wrong because Scout is booking it down from the top side. Doesn't have the teleport available to him. Now it's going to be up and available, and trying to play that one out as a 4v5 just doesn't work out. Even though, watch the hostile takeover right here from Missing, because it lands onto so many members in this fight. It's a split fight, it's a messy fight. Hostile takeover happens right now. Actually manages to land onto most members, onto 3 of the 4 that he was aiming towards. I think if Light gets picked up by that one, you probably managed to win this one out. And then this is just a complete mess. Look at the fact that you're still trying to get involved in this fight right here as Scout. And Scout's contribution is an ult, a kill onto Annie, and an immediate death. That's not good.
No. Question that will really scratch the minds of JDG is, even with Scout kind of behind, he only has 1 item. He gives us for the QSS, which has been a common build into the Annie when we see Yone versus Annie, but with that hostile takeover, you know, with the Lilting Lullaby, what does Fate Sealed add to that? Question that JDG really need to make sure to not burrow down into, as this game is almost as even as it could possibly come. Kills are 1 separated apart. Gold, mere 100 pieces of shillings separating these 2 teams.
Yeah.
And once again, Bloxxer, it is who steps up most in this game, or on the flip side, who makes the least amount of mistakes that really could come out on top. As we have a catch onto Tian. Very tanky Skarner. Gets 2-man impale, but Erha's nearby. He has to flash over the wall to save him. The hostile takeover hits onto him and Tian. Where's the rest of Weibo? Because Tian is buying so much space. Erha finally falls. Breathe is about half HP. Here's the Fate Seal from Scout, though, and he hits the X Factor ult we were waiting for in the last fight. Scout just made sure to send a pre-order through to the LPL English fans, because once the big product came, boy did it hit for JD Gaming.
There we go. They're just going to be able to push through onto this bottom lane tower as well, pick themselves up even more gold, reset, spend it as well, and head back out onto the map to pick themselves up another one of these Drakes. Brilliant fight right there. And Weibo just getting caught out in their own jungle. They don't recognize that you can't be stepping up in that situation. And you called it, right? Very tanky Skarner. This is a Skarner with a lot of health available to you through the heart steal. It's got that unending as well, so survives for a very long time. But I think that's a problem in this situation. If he insta-dies, the rest of Weibo's members don't think they can maybe save him. We get a replay, watch what ends up happening between the two ADCs, because Peyz just annihilates Light on the back end of that fight.
Scout has had a ton of criticism levied his way for a lot of mistakes at different points of this group ascent stage, mostly in his side laning and his laning in general.
Including in this game, just 5 minutes previous.
In last game as well, he had points, but a guy that has played in so many big-time games internationally in the LPL stage, one thing he's been reliable on in JDG wins is that one big critical fight. And could this be the one for JDG? We'll have to see.
Watch Peyz right here. Watch what he does to Erha. Sorry, I thought he'd annihilated Light at the start. It was Erha who he just insta-kills, and that completely stops Light from being able to get in. And then this is what you're talking about with Scout. Beautiful Fate Seal to be able to pick that one up. Nobody ends up dying in that situation as well. Back out onto the map we go. While all the replays and everything were happening, we did also see that Drake go down, so JDG now put themselves onto Soul Point. Soul Point they should have already had, to be honest. That should very much have been Soul picked up for them. But now, all eyes onto the big purple worm, Baron up and available, and actually started up right here by Weibo. This is a bit of a desperation play for them right here.
Reeve has teleport, but he's walking his way up, so JDG are going to try and force their way in. Scout off to the side. Baron below 4K. Are we going to 50-50 this? Who's going to come out on top? Hostile takeover, Impale. Tian impales the jungler, then hits the smite. Can they win the fight off the back end? Because Peyz is running wild. Everyone on top of each other. Breathe finally shows up, but Peyz with another clutch frag. He gets in, finds 2 kills, gets out. Peyz is a superstar for JDG, and he might just push them over the edge to get the sweep home. It's just Shun and Erha. Shun is going to chase down Tian and Erha. They're looking for the knockout blow here, Bloxxer. They won't let this Karma and Skarner escape until they just barely get back to their tier 2 turret.
Just about going to be able to squeak away, but still the fight very much won right here for JDG. There is going to be 2 Barons available for Weibo, but they've lost 500 gold off the back of it. And remember, that counter includes the 1,500 gold you get for simply picking up the objective. This game very much falling away from Weibo. They may well be on a 5-game losing streak when all is said and done at the end of today. JDG, what a set of plays so far today. 1 singular death for Peyz.
Remarkable. Can't say the same for Allah, who is deathless, but he is so dead. Oh, TP? No way.
Oh my god!
Oh!
He's deathless still in this game.
Weibo fans, I'm so sorry. You don't deserve this.
Oh, that's good. 5-0-11 right here on the Yorick. We were surprised when we saw the Yorick locked in as one of the first pickups. R1 Yorick. Very early on to be seeing this champion locked in right here, but hey, he's paying it back.
Bloxxer. We made the joke, right? Because the funniest part about this is that Breathe had an immaculate Yorick game the first time round these 2 teams matched up, and we made the joke, how many extra Yorick games did that buy in the LPL? How many additional Yorick games do you feel like Allah might have just bought the LPL? That's the big question right now.
6 more that we're going to have to watch. Yeah.
How many of those are, like, good, though? Like
bad. I think all but one of them is going to be bad. Wow. Most likely.
Weibo, though, indexing this Baron play into the mid lane. They knock down the tier 2 turret. They get the hostile takeover out for very little, but Light is the one that gets hit, and he immediately takes his teammate down about half HP. So that might kind of stall out the Baron play. And they also have to worry about Allah off to the top lane.
There you go. This is exactly what you want to be seeing right here. You now need to win out onto this 4v5. I love this from Scout, actually. Just trying to stop any recalls.
He wants Peyz. He gets the root. Xiaohu's here. Timbers down. With the Fate's call from Peyz is once again perfectly timed. Lilting Lullaby into the Fate Seal. They've got Light, and they've shoved him into the dark depths of the gray screen. Peyz finally drops on the top side of the fight to Xiaohu, but it's time for Scout and Shun to try and bring this one home. Scout full HP, but he's lost all of his teammates. Keep in mind, though, the bottom left corner of your screen. Scout is buying so much time for Allah. He gets himself the triple kill. No way. Can Scout do it all on his own? The Karma Shields may ruin it. His health bar's too low. Gets the Q. W comes down, goes back forward, but the healing's enough. But the base of Weibo is the big loss. Allah's not slowing down, Bloxxer.
Can he do it? I don't think he can do it. He just doesn't have the build. He's got a team fight build. He's not got the Yorick build that we were really expecting.
Oh my god, he's going for it.
No
way.
There's no way.
It's just the tank Skarner and the Karma. They're not doing any damage.
Wait.
Erha and Tian, they're watching their base implode. Finally, it's Ola that comes up and light saves it. Oh man.
Oh, so close. It's the team fight Yorick build. If that's a hull breaker.
Yeah, I mean...
If that's a hull breaker. And the next buy is a Jack show. This is teamfight Yorick. The game is over. JDG are on the bus home already.
Why
if this
is
is just an actual split push Yorick build. This is crazy.
Wait, why is my mid laner TPing top? This is Infernal Soul. Do they not think they can fight this without Ala? I am continually perplexed. Okay, he just fate sealed to get closer to Scout. He didn't even use the ultimate on Xiaohu. What am I watching? Ah, my eyes! I wish we had
the facepalm counter.
Yeah, plus 10 million to the facepalm counter. What has gone into these teams, man? There's no analysis here, guys. Like, I don't know what you want Bloxxer to say. Like, that was a solo
I'm not allowed
queue
to say
play.
any of the words in my head right now on broadcast.
Yeah, there's that too, huh?
I love the LPL. Like, hey. Is it good? Is this good League of Legends? God,
no!
But this is so much fun. Oh my god.
Oh man, this is
bro,
the only thing this isn't gonna top is that Flandre Sion.
Yeah. I want an Ornn Sion matchup from these top laners in the next game. Neither of them are allowed real champions.
Are we going next game? I mean, I guess anything's possible.
Anything is possible. JDG's still very much going to be in the lead of this one, but only by 3k, you know? Yeah, there's no Nexus towers or anything, but Weibo, they're kind of still fighting this one back.
Come back.
And if Scout wants to just, like, int again, it's possible.
Oh, man. Yeah, breathe, buddy. Don't get close to the maiden. You don't compete.
You don't win that.
Oh,
all right.
All right. Baron's up, Bloxxer.
Like
again.
Baron.
Let's see if Weibo in this series. Fun fact for all the statisticians out there: they are negative 2k gold on their 2 Baron power plays in this series. Do not show the blast cone, you crazy observers, I swear.
If this was an actual tower-orientated Yorick build, I think he goes for it, right? And you just, like, 3-tap the tower. Unfortunately, again, this Yorick does damage to champions and lives for a long time in and amongst the team fight, but doesn't actually do very much to the towers. I don't love the build. I still don't love the build, but it is part of the reason he's 5-1 on 11, right? He's been very much involved in the actual team fights of these games. Right now, split pushing, going to be pushing in onto Breed at the moment. Does have the teleport available, as does Breed though, so both of those are going to be able to rejoin with the team at the moment. Light and the rest of Weibo are going to have the priority on towards this Baron at the moment, although we've seen plenty of crazy steals so far in this series.
Here they go, starting the Baron. Redemption's going to spot them out. 4v4 for now. And Light does a ton of damage onto this Baron. Scout goes over the wall to spot it. They use the Fate's Call to get away from Xiaohu's major damage. They throw Missing towards Xiaohu, but he gets away from the handshake, has all on top of him, and the fight is separated by that big wall. And guess who's on top of Xiaohu? It's Peyz for the first kill, shooting in the muck, trying to use the bailout to get saved, but Light finds the kill. Scout flies in, tries to get onto Light, but he survives once more. Lethal tempo going brazy for Weibo's AD carry. And now it's the marksman that we have to highlight as this fight continues to evolve. Tons of low health bars. Erha, Tian, Breathe. They're so low and ripe for the taking. All the flies in, but the shields are so massive. But Peyz is bigger. You thought he fell off last series? Guess what? Peyz is the top marksman in the league for reasons like this. Completely ends Weibo's chances. Get the brooms out. Weibo have been swept out by JD Gaming.
There we go, that's the team fight that they've been finally looking for. That's why the Yorick is built like a team fight mauler, and they're going to be able to just push through and end this game. Xiaohu is going to be up in 7 seconds time. If he's got a miracle in him, now would be the time to pull it out, and this is going to be Weibo's chances of making it into the playoffs straight up, disappearing away from them right in front of their eyes.
Scout seeping in, holy moly, Tibbers value. Alla doesn't have a chance. I hate that the turrets are a little bugged.
They're not going to be able to end. Okay, Xiaohu, nice miracle. Alright.
I think one turret was up. I just get thrown off by the Nexus
Yeah.
turrets. I can't see their health bars. Oh, don't show
Wait, did
missing
he die to this tower?
Yes, of course he did. Bloxxer, what game? Did you forget what game we're watching? Like, alright. Baron time, I guess. Tian is sprinting over here, by the way. Weibo at 5.
I can feel it in my bones.
Oh no, JDG.
Might fight somehow.
They have Ren Smite, so they really shouldn't lose, and no, they don't want to gamble it. The death timers are too long. They come off the Baron. It doesn't even, oh my god, they actually signed, seal, and delivered a Baron to Weibo.
Alright, let's see if this one gives Weibo positive gold. Right? Let's see if they can actually get something out of this one. So far, 1,500 gold. Now, that's what you get for just taking it. And the fact they haven't immediately lost a team fight means that this is the best Baron Weibo have been able to pick up for themselves this entire series long. Also, Tian going to be able to take away...
Shun, stop handing Tian three things, man, please.
Oh, can you feel game number 3? It's looming.
No, not with that Tibbers from Xiaohu. He just whipped his entire combo. Scout gets out. They're going to lose the Infernal Drake for this, the no soul. But Peyz is hunting.
Peyz.
Fate's call once more. Peyz is in front of all of Weibo. Who can finally shut down this Callista? He's dashing all around the bailout. It comes through. How does Peyz do it? He's a miracle worker.
Yo!
This guy is an absolute wizard. And he's decimating Weibo again. This time, it's finally over. I'll say it. Peyz is at the top of the LPL. And he's trying to rip JDG up with him.
Oh my lord, that is one of the sexiest plays I've seen in a while. Peyz using every bit of his health bar, every bit of the bailout as well from missing. Just so gorgeous. And this finally is going to be the end. This is going to be the 2-0 for JDG, the momentum they needed to carry on. They want to get themselves into that top 4.
That was one of the single greatest Callista games I've ever seen in my casting career. My God.
That's one of the best series I've watched from an ADC in years. He dies
skip to
no
MVP
times
now?
game
Like-
1.
Like, just throw MVP up right now. Like,
Yo.
we don't need to. What are we going to deliberate about? Like, hello?
I guess they consider giving it to Arla because he also had a pretty good game, but that was gorgeous. I mean, in terms of champions to do it on, Callista's one of the hardest ADCs in the entire game. The amount of movement that you have to be thinking about with this champion, I don't know how his wrist hasn't fallen off, because that was crazy.
Peyz, you beautiful, beautiful man. I mean, I am completely speechless. So he ends up with 2 deaths across the series. Maybe, yeah, 2. And he was playing Kaisa Callista.
Yeah.
What are... I mean, it's... I have a bunch of overreactions popping in my head. I'm like, can Navi move over? We have our real MVP. Like,
Yeah.
somebody's got to stop me.
Hey.
Mickey might have to cut my mic the way I'm ready to cat for this guy. Holy
We
moly.
will temper this slightly.
Okay.
By saying
I'll calm down.
he looked terrible versus IG. It was a real rough
Yes.
series for Peyz versus IG. We came into today really highlighting these bot lanes as needing turnarounds. One of these bot lanes most certainly did turn it around. What I need to see now from Peyz is another series of him looking solid, right? Because that was a great performance here up against Weibo. It was terrible up against IG. I want to see what his middle ground is, right? How the consistency is looking. 'Cause
Yeah.
what we'd been talking about before the IG series was that Peyz was one of the most consistent players. Now all of a sudden he's looking volatile, but hey, the highs are gorgeous.
We may need a moment of silence when we get that last fight back on replay. Well, moment of silence for Weibo because they just got torched by one man. All right, I'll stop, Bloxxer. Let's talk about the stakes now that we know the result of this series because Weibo are now locked in at 6-9. Yeah. That is off. Actually, with game score, Off this series loss, they're 7th. Weibo are 7th. FPX goes to 6th. How soon are you willing to, like, are we locking Weibo as a play-in team at this point? Like, it is
Yeah.
such a difficult road back up.
I would be locking them as a play-ins team right here because their next game is against TES, so that sucks for them.
Oh, lovely.
Then
My
they
lord.
have FPX and WE. If I'm being generous right here to Weibo, maybe they go 2-1 in their next set of series to round out this season. You know, maybe they're able to pick up wins versus WE and FPX, and that puts them slightly higher. I really just don't see it. I very much think that right now, the battle is going to be between IG and JDG for who gets that 4th spot straight into the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up JDG as we get some of the post-game stats from this game too. JDG now go 8-6. That actually moves them into 4th because they have, or it might get a little bit murky because they do have less series played than IG, but they are locked in 8 wins, contesting for that 4th spot. What a series for JDG. They get their get back. Weibo beat them all the way back in week 2 of this very Rumble stage. And, yeah, oh, wow. For once, I know Weibo, a lot of the blame, and it's been just like an LPL thing to blame junglers for teams that are lacking well. I'll say this. Tian played his heart out, man. Like, like that Impale on the Baron, so many game-saving plays on this Skarner, I feel like.
Yeah, in the majority of these team fights, it never felt like Tian was the problem. Maybe you can criticize him for not finding any of those 3-man impales, but they're so tricky, and if your opponents just position well, correctly around these team fights, it's not going to happen anyway. You can't will your opponents to all stand on top of each other to yoink 3 of them with the impale. That's not really on the Skarner. If they are in position to find them and you miss it, then that's on you, but otherwise I'm not worried about it. Tian was always alive to the very end, was dealing so much damage with this Skarner. He was playing his absolute heart. You are right on that one. And there were so many situations in which, he nearly was able to find big wins for the team. At the same time, though, it just wasn't enough, right? The remaining members weren't really doing their job. I think Xiaohu had a couple really suspect ultis where he was dropping the full Tibbers combo onto just, random members, not even picking up full kills. I'm not even, criticizing, he put it onto the support. I think if you one-tap missing before he's able to get a hostile takeover off or a bailout, that works for me too, but he wasn't. He was dropping the combo either incorrectly or with full combo, but not onto a member he could one-shot, and that wasn't looking so good. Topside, you were getting kind of pushed around as Breathe the majority of this series. There wasn't really any moment where I was like, yeah, Breathe's really popping off in this one. And so it's hard. It's really hard as a jungler when none of your lanes are winning or playing correctly to be able to push it forwards.
It doesn't help when you have to go against this maniac. I mean, look at this. He's in the face. He forces an Annie to Zanya's. He dances around a Dominus Renekton. Gets the bailout off of the kill he set up. That may be one of the single best highlights we're going to get all Rumble stage long, Bloxxer.
I want that on a billboard. I want that on repeat to some sick music on a billboard. That is gorgeous play right there. And in the most critical moment, right? Because every single person right there on Weibo is trying to kill this Kalista. You get the kill. Wonderful. You probably win that team fight. You might even be able to push through an end. The death times are really long.
Yeah. Guys, this better be unanimous, by the way.
No. They might give it to Arla. They might. I wouldn't. I don't like his build. If he builds differently, he just wins the game earlier on. I get it. He's getting involved in a lot of the team fights, but I don't know.
All right, I'm ready to bow down.
Yeah, fair. 2 deaths across the course of an entire series. That play at the end.
Oh,
genuinely, one of the most impressive overall series that I've seen from an ADC in a while. And if this is Peyz figuring things out, if this isn't just his form up against Weibo, if this is Peyz putting that IG game behind him, maybe that was a bit of a reality check for him, and now he's going to be on this form going forwards, all of a sudden, you're going to be a very, very scary team right here as JD Gaming.
Yeah, you talked about it, his floor is really high because he's been such a consistent player. But if that's the ceiling we're getting from Peyz, that is a 1v9 level ceiling in a league that has had so many amazing 1v9 80 carries. It's awesome to see Peyz, who joined back into 2024. He joined for this JDG team, one of the super teams everyone talked about. There's your superstar on this roster. Peyz, not alone, but at the forefront of this 2-0 sweep for JDG as they try to cement themselves competitive for that final 4th playoff spot that seems like the only one that's going to be in reach here. But that is not our final series of the day here, folks. We're going to take a bit longer of an extended break, and we'll be coming back with the top team locked into the playoffs, Top Esports, trying to solidify the #1 seed, taking on a struggling World Elite squad.